Good afternoon and welcome to the University of Canberra. My name's Professor Nick Klomp. I'm the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Education here at the University of Canberra, and this is the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Education turning off his mobile phone. If I'm wondering whether you could all follow suit, I'd really appreciate it. I'll be your Masters of Ceremony here this afternoon on what will be an entertaining commencement ceremony for 2014. Please welcome everybody, and there's some more seats down the front if you're looking for a spot. Vice-Chancellor, Professor Stephen Parker, AO, Deans of the faculties of the University, University academic and professional staff and representatives, parents and friends, special guest Gabrielle Tozer, who I'll introduce in a moment, but especially all our new and commencing students, welcome to the commencement ceremony for 2014. The commencement ceremony is a chance for the university to officially acknowledge the start of the academic year, but it's also a way for us to welcome all the new members of the community, for us to welcome you all officially, and we mean that from the bottom of our hearts. We think this will be a really exciting journey, and it's important to acknowledge the start of such an important journey. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we've gathered here today, the Ngunnawal people, and extend my respect to elders past and present and all Indigenous people here today. But I have great delight in being able to welcome to the front Aunty Agnes Shea, OAM, Ngunnawal Elder, to begin official proceedings with an official welcome to country. Aunty Agnes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Gee, you look a lovely lot of students there, eh? And that, I'm very pleased to welcome you today to the 2014 commencement ceremony, as you are about to begin your studies at the University of Canberra. Again, I'm Aunty Agnes Shea, and I'm one of the Ngunnawal elders, and I stand before you a very proud mother, grandmother and great-grandmother. I'd like to start off by acknowledging Vice President Stephen Parker, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and a very special welcome to all of our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island friends and our non-Indigenous friends who've come and joined us here today. A special welcome to all students who are new to Canberra, and they come from interstate or even overseas. And I hope you settled into your beautiful new town quickly. Education, and especially university level education, is such a wonderful opportunity and an important time in a person's life. It is an opportunity and a moment to be truly treasured. What you learn here at the university will prepare you for your future challenges in your working and personal lives. I hope that you all gain valuable knowledge and experience through your courses, and that you will build strong relationships with your fellow students over the years to come. I have to move this area, I didn't want to knock that off. Thank you to the university for giving me the opportunity to come in today to invite you and attend this ceremony. I hope you all have a wonderful day, enjoying the festivities of a week, and most of all, I wish you the very best for your time here at the University of Canberra. And just before I finish, in the words of the Ngunnawal people, when I talk to students, I always like to say a little thing about a very, very simple meaning, but I'll carry this through my life, and it's got me in many, many wonderful places. But I want to say, education alone will not allow us as people to move forward in peace and equality. You must have one simple thing. You must have respect. And first of all, you respect yourself. respect your history, respect your teachers and your elders, and respect each other. It's a powerful thing, respect. If you have it, you gain confidence. And if you give it, you will receive it, but you also will receive a friend. So I hope you remember that, because that is one thing that we, as Aboriginal people and the children, when we first was at the age of reasoning, we was always taught to respect a person older than ourselves, and we have. So once again, thank you all for having me. Thank you, Professor. And now I will finish in the language of the Ngunnawal people, Nagana, Yarabai, Yangu, which means you're welcome to leave your footprints on our land now. Or in other words, welcome to Ngunnawal country. Please enjoy the rest of the morning. I'm sorry I can't stay. I've got another important to attend to, but please enjoy everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Aunty Agnes. Thank you again, and I find myself saying this a few times, for your support of the university and particularly for your support of the students of the University of Canberra. We really appreciate it, and as a tiny token of appreciation, will you please accept this small gift, and thank you again for squeezing us into what you obviously is a really busy schedule. Thank you, Aunty Agnes. I know you have to go, mate.
We're going this way, so we're not going to be past people. Thank you, darling.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to welcome to the front Professor Stephen Parker, AO, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Canberra, to give you the official welcome to the university and the official acknowledgement of the commencement of the new academic year. Stephen.
Thank you, Nick. Well, welcome everyone to the University of Canberra, whether you're coming here straight from school or college, whether you've taken a gap year, whether you've come here after a period in the workforce, or even if you've already studied at university before and just can't get enough of it. Sometimes also there are members of family and friends here at these ceremonies, and I welcome you also. Support from friends and family for new students as they transition into university can be very important, and thank you for what you do. Welcome in particular to students from overseas. Moving to a new country can be a great challenge, particularly if you don't know anyone and particularly if you have a different first language. We hope that you are happy here, and we mean to do everything we can to support you. I'd like to talk for a few minutes about the university and then give you some advice from my perspective about how to be successful here. UC is a young university in many ways. We started as a college of advanced education in 1968 and became a university in 1990. But already there are 11 institutions that are younger than us as universities, and already we have nearly 70,000 graduates. We have a strategic plan which is a commitment to various values. We say that we are here for three main purposes: to provide education which offers high quality, transformative experiences to everyone suitably qualified, whatever their stage of life and irrespective of their origins. So our first commitment is to try to transform your lives for the better through education, wherever you have come from. Secondly, we want to engage in research and creative practice which is of high quality and aims to make an early and important difference to the world around us. So what we do is problem-solving kind of research designed to make the world a better place. And then thirdly, we want to contribute through our education and our research to the building of just, prosperous and sustainable communities which are respectful of their Indigenous past, as I hope you've already just witnessed, and are committed to redressing disadvantage. So this is a university which is based strongly on equitable and ethical principles. We have a strong reputation for teaching professional courses which help people find rewarding jobs. The Good Universities Guide for 2014 gives UC the maximum 5-star rating for getting a job, and this is the 13th year in a row that we've had the maximum rating. We also receive 5 stars for positive graduate outcomes, and that's for the 4th year running. So we are committed to try to help you build satisfying and rewarding professional careers, and the evidence is there that we succeed. Last year, 93% of our graduates were in full-time employment or in further study 4 months after graduating, which is higher than the national average, and it's something of which we're very proud. Over the last few years, we've been growing our student numbers, with around 14,000 students now enrolled in the university itself, and in addition we have University of Canberra College. We've grown a lot in recent years, and if we make our enrolment targets in 2014, which I believe we will, this year we will be the largest that we have ever been. Last year we had very rewarding news. We entered world rankings as a university. There are 3 sets of main world rankings. We entered one of them. This particular set of rankings, the QS rankings, takes the top 800 universities in the world out of about probably 15,000 and then ranks them. We came in at 600 and that puts us in the top 5% of universities in the world, and there's more to come. We have a strong representation of international students. At any one time, international students represent between 20 and 25% of our student numbers, and they come at any one time from over 100 countries. And we hope that you will all enjoy and celebrate this international atmosphere wherever you come from. And this all matters to you, even if you don't fully appreciate it now. One day, believe it or not, you will graduate from here, and you will want a degree certificate, or testama as we call it, from a university with a rising reputation around the world and with graduates around the world. So this is very much in your immediate interests that our reputation and our strength continue to rise. Our growth means that we've been able to invest in new facilities to improve your experience here and to cater for future growth. So, as you've probably already seen, we have a new student central complex which opened a year or 2 ago. That incorporates the Student Administration Centre, support for international and AusAid students, the Careers Service, the Student Equity and Access Office, UC Accessibility for students with a disability, and a number of study lounges, sort of bean bags and that kind of thing. We've just opened new student residences, and you might have seen the brand new one behind Building 5, Cooper Lodge. That's a facility with over 400 beds, and I learned yesterday that already 90% of those beds have been booked. In addition to our on-campus accommodation, we also have residences in Balconnen, just off campus, and this has enabled us to make a student accommodation guarantee. So all first-year students who are domestic and all international students, whatever their stage of their degree, are guaranteed a place in university accommodation. And this is the first year that we've been able to offer that guarantee because of our investments. Building work is complete now on Canberra's first GP super clinic, which is on the northern edge of campus on Ngunnawal Drive. It'll open in about a month. It has a range of services including general practitioners, a pharmacy, pathology labs, radiology, psychology services, and our own student-led health clinics where our health students under supervision treat patients. And this super clinic will also provide opportunities for research and clinical placements in our courses. And then there are some exciting developments which are only partly to do with bricks and mortar. You may know that we support Canberra's Super 15 rugby team, the Brumbies, who now go under the name of the University of Canberra Brumbies. And this is the first time in the history of Australian sport that an elite team in a top international competition has adopted a university's name. We hope that you'll become members of the club and that you'll go to their games. If you come from a country which plays no rugby, go along and have a look. I think possibly the only thing I can promise is it'll be easier to understand than cricket. And maybe in the future, China, Malaysia and other countries will have Brumbies fan clubs, who knows. You can already see the Brumbies training on campus, and in May they will move into new headquarters in our Sporting Commons, which is under construction at the moment. And that facility will have UCU Fitness Suite, the Brumbies headquarters, shared areas for biomechanics, coaching, strength and conditioning and physiotherapy, as well as research offices for our National Institute for Sports Studies. So that's a major development which is now nearly complete. This is a campus which has plenty of contemporary music, including some of the biggest acts. I gather that it's possible that some of you, in fact, were lured along here this morning by the possibility of free Groove in the Moo tickets, rather than necessarily my commencement presentation. This is the fifth year running that we've had GTM on campus. I've been to the previous four. They've been great. We've got a major lineup this year. I see that Dizzy Rascal is on the lineup there. He's already performed in campus before. But we have many other music acts in Zeerholz, the pub which you might have visited, or in the refectory. And I think I saw that Birds of Tokyo are here on Thursday in the refectory, if you like, that kind of theatrical, dramatic stuff. So anyway, all of this adds up to a university with good facilities and opportunities for our students. But obviously you're here to study and to build a career. So I'd like to make some comments about being a student at the university. Being a student for many people is a great phase in their lives, but it's not always straightforward. Many of you have to juggle part-time work and study, and some of you have family responsibilities too. Financial hardship is a real and unfortunate aspect of higher education in Australia, and your studies can be stressful, and some of you may be adjusting to being away from home for the first time. We recognise this, and we will do all that we can to support you. The staff were students too, once upon a time, and many of us have children who are or who have recently been students themselves. So we do have insights into the challenges of being a student in modern Australia. I've got two daughters who finished university, and my third daughter is still at university and expects to be there for another 4 years as well. So we do have insights into the kinds of things that you may be going through. First of all, I urge you to study at a steady pace. Don't leave it until exam time to cram it all in. This might have worked in the past, and I have to confess it may have worked for me as well, but it doesn't work nowadays. There's too much continuous assessment to risk it, and in examinations we're testing for things which can't be crammed in at the last moment. So take it at a steady, even pace. Secondly, enjoy all aspects of university life, intellectual, artistic, sporting and social. They're very special places, universities, and we want to help you develop all aspects of your personality, or at least most aspects. Many of our co-curricular activities come under the University of Canberra Union, UCU, and there's now an app for Apple and Android devices called UC Life, which tells you about discounts on food and drink, events, sporting facilities and retail outlets. So download the app. Thirdly, remember that universities are ethical places. In your studies, you need to observe the principles of academic life. Cite your sources, don't copy the work of others without attribution, and so on. In your personal conduct, please remember that we believe in diversity. There is no place at the University of Canberra for prejudice based on race, gender, sexuality, class, or any other irrational criterion, and nor will violence or harassment be tolerated under any circumstances. Fourth, if you do have a problem, please seek help. If you let your problems pile up, they will only get worse. We have good health and counselling services, good academic support programmes, and all the staff are here and they really want to help you. So, I hope you have a great time at UC. I hope that you'll promote it to others whilst you're here and after you leave. From my point of view, you're not only O-Week students, but you are future alumni, and we want you to be good ambassadors for the university. Thank you for coming to the University of Canberra, and good luck.
Thank you, Vice-Chancellor. Our guest speaker for today's ceremony is Gabrielle Tozer. Gabrielle is an author, journalist and copywriter, and a University of Canberra graduate. She completed a Bachelor of Communication, majoring in journalism and creative writing in 2005. During her studies, she interned with the university's media team, working on the Monitor magazine. Since graduation, she has worked as a managing editor, deputy editor, chief sub-editor, senior features writer and freelancer for publications including Dolly, Girlfriend, Cosmopolitan, Bride-to-Be, The Canberra Times and Mamma Mia. Gabrielle's writing has also appeared in the creative anthologies Take It As Read and Go Fish, and she is previous winner of the ABC's Haywire competition. Her debut novel, The Intern, was released earlier this month and is already receiving rave reviews from advance copies from magazines and authors. This book, The Intern, is available in the University Bookshop on the concourse, but more of that later. Gabrielle has recently founded The Bottom Rung. It's an online hub to help young people gain confidence and expert advice in a range of industries, including media, film and fashion. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please join me in welcoming Gabrielle Tozer to the front to present the 2014 Commencement Address.
Thank you so much for such a kind introduction. That was lovely. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Tozer, and I'm an author, journalist, and copywriter. And 11 years ago, I was sitting on the opposite side to where I'm standing now. That's right, I was where you are. And I remember feeling all kinds of emotions. Nervousness, excitement, a bit of boredom. There was also a sense of freedom. Freedom from high school, moving away from home and also onto campus, meeting new people. But most of all, I remember there was a sense of not knowing what came next, of opportunities and possibilities. Maybe some of you are feeling the same way. Maybe you're in the minority and dreamed about this day since you were a little kid like I did. I was such a little nerd. Maybe you never thought you'd make it to university, but you proved yourself wrong, and here you are right now. Maybe you're not 100% sure you're even in the right room. Whatever your reason for coming today, and I'm sure the Groove and the Moo prize tickets had something to do with it, I can just guarantee that the next few years at the University of Canberra are going to change your life in all kinds of marvellous ways. Now, I'm sure a few of you are wondering, who is this clown that they've called on to give the commencement ceremony speech? What does she know about the world, about university, about career, about success? Good question. Since graduating with a communication, journalism and creative writing degree from the University of Canberra, I've collected a few notches on the old career belt, which have been pointed out earlier. I've worked as a journo, a deputy editor, a senior sub-editor, a managing editor, a copywriter, and now I'm an author. And with all those jobs, it sounds like I should be retired already, I think. Sure, on paper, it sounds pretty good, kind of glamorous even. Writing for some of the biggest magazine publishing companies in Australia, interviewing the likes of Ida Buttrose, Jessica Rowe, and Hamish Blake, scoring a 2-book deal with HarperCollins and publishing my first novel, The Intern, earlier this month. But my career path wasn't always smooth sailing. I often describe it as a roller coaster ride. There was lots of laughter, shrieking tears, and the occasional urge to throw up. There was the steady stream of rejections before I got my big break in Sydney. There were nasty deadlines when I worked in magazines, often having to work till 10 p.m. at night. There was one horrific night that was about 1 a.m, 2 a.m. Or more recently, there was the 5 months I spent at the physiotherapist because I'd given myself RSI from typing too much after all those years, and I feared I'd have to quit writing, and I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do with the rest of my life. What's been amazing though is how many lessons I've learnt through these challenging and trying points of my degree and my career. Lessons about myself, about people, success and happiness. Lessons I now wear as part of me. Like the lower back tattoo I got when I was 19, I now carry these lessons with me for the rest of my life. And so that's why I've been called here today, to reveal those little secrets that I know will give you an edge, to share with you my mistakes so you don't have to make the same ones, to admit to you that no one person has all the answers, not even me, despite being here behind this fancy lectern. Now, I'm ashamed to say I can't remember who spoke at my commencement ceremony in 2003, and there's a good chance you won't remember me either, especially if you're already daydreaming about what to have for lunch just out there. But if you could first allow me to share the following 8 nuggets of wisdom, then hopefully, even if you forget about me, then something in here sticks and you can carry these with you over the following years. Here we go. Number 1, start now and create your own opportunities. When you step onto a university campus, what happens next is up to you. There's a freedom that wasn't present during your high school years, and how that freedom is used or wasted is completely in your very capable hands. And if I can say anything on this point, don't wait for people to come knocking on your door with a perfect opportunity to show off your talents. They might, or they might walk straight past you and go to that guy, or to that girl, or me. So don't wait. Create opportunities for yourself. Put your hand up. Experiment with ideas. Say yes and try things. No matter which degree you're doing, look for a gap in the market that only you can fill. What's missing? Create it. What do people want? Find a way to give it to them. What do you enjoy doing? Do it. Forget putting off your plans until the end of your degree. Start this year and show everyone that you're hungry for it. The jobs market has never been so competitive, so by the time you finish your degree, you'll need a lot rattling around in that toolkit of yours. So build up a portfolio, fill up that CV with work experience, earn enough cred, and you don't even know, like perhaps you could be getting paid before you've even finished your degree. I know a lot of people have from UC, there's a lot of great internships going around. Number 2, comparing yourself will drive you bonkers. This one is easier said than done, as it's common to compare test results and exam results, but the old saying, comparison is the root of all unhappiness, is spot on. We've all wasted too much time wishing we had a friend's amazing job, or a relative's 6-bedroom McMansion, or a stranger's ridiculously good looks. But where does all that comparing lead? Absolutely nowhere. It just creates an impossible set of standards and the feeling of not being good enough, just as you are. Here's a secret. That person with the 6-bedroom McMansion is probably comparing themselves to the person with the 7-bedroom McMansion. So they're not necessarily any happier than you are in your 2-bedroom apartment. The key with this life lesson is to set a standard for yourself and to strive to hit that, rather than trying to outdo others, something of which you have absolutely no control over. I get it, it's hard. We want to compare, we want to compete, we want to be the best. But if you set aside time to write down what you're grateful for and steer away from the grass is always greener on the other side complex, then you will be so much happier in your career, in relationships, in health, in life in general. Number 3, careers aren't always an uphill climb. I learnt this the hard way at age 25. I'd quickly risen through the ranks and was working myself to the bone as a deputy editor on a string of national magazines. I tried to convince myself I was fulfilled. I had a fancy job title and was earning way more money than I ever did as a writer. But I'd done a writing degree and I wasn't writing anymore. I was too busy managing a team of 11 and sorting out dramas between staff, and I had absolutely no idea why I was so frustrated and unfulfilled. I'd done everything the outside world had encouraged me to do: get a good job, get a better job, get the top job. But it wasn't enough and I wasn't happy. So I regrouped. I'd done a writing degree and I wanted to be a writer. But I felt a bit ashamed. I was actually managing writers at that time. Could I really go back to being one? But then one of my employees, a part-timer with 2 kids at home, told me that what many people don't understand is it's normal for careers to have peaks and troughs. He'd had an amazing career as a magazine publisher, but was happy taking this far less prestigious job because it meant he had more time with his kids and to work on his novels. Careers aren't always an uphill climb, and that's okay. He didn't see himself as a failure or as anything less. A week later, I accepted I was on a career path that was never going to make me happy, and I quit. My parents freaked out, of course, but I found a writing position at another magazine and took a pay cut. But it was worth it because I felt like I was back on the right path for me. The uphill climb can be fantastic, but please never be ashamed of taking sideways or slightly downward steps with your career if you know in your gut that there's something else that you're meant to be doing. Number 4, be mindful of your internet trail. This one's short and sweet. Think about what you post online. We all leave an internet trail, and trust me, employers check it out. How do I know that? Because I've hired people, and the first thing I do is Google the applicants' names. There's nothing wrong with having an internet presence. I'm the first one to admit I have a Twitter and Facebook and Instagram addiction. However, just make sure it's one that you're proud of and wouldn't be ashamed to show a potential recruiter. Or your grandparents. They're a good litmus test. Number 5, love what you do because you're going to spend a lifetime working. Call me crazy, but I don't want to spend from 9 to 5 every day for the rest of my life doing something I can't stand. Let's talk about this in numbers. Say you start full-time work when you're 21, like I did, and you work through to at least 60. That's 39 years of work. And that's being safe. Plenty of people go on to work much longer than that. Minus holidays and weekends, we're talking thousands of days of your life working. Now, before we all start crying and holding each other, it's actually helpful to think about this. How do you want to spend your time? What kind of work environment do you want for yourself? How can you see yourself? What can you see yourself doing? Knowing the answer to those questions can be a beacon of light through university as you pick majors and minors, and also through your working life. If you're not sure, that's okay too. Just gently check in with yourself every now and then to see if anything's shifted. Love what you do. That's all I'll say on that. Number 6, find a damn good mentor. Oprah has one. Barack Obama has one. Almost any successful person you meet has one. But what is the point of a mentor? And why am I so passionate about each and every one of you eventually finding 1, 2, 3, or a whole room full of mentors for yourself? The fact is, the perfect mentor understands you more than the majority of people. They get where you're coming from, they believe in you, they want the best from you, and they'll fill you in on wisdom that'll help you in the long run. I've had a few. My high school English teacher, Kathy Edwards, my University of Canberra scriptwriting lecturer, Felicity Packard, who I have the pleasure of seeing today for the first time in 8 years. And a handful of editors who have nurtured and guided me over the years. Finding a mentor can't be forced. It's up to you to stay open and willing to learn from those around you. But if you can find someone to look up to, and I'm sure you'll be spoiled for choice among your UC lecturers and tutors, it will set you up with counsel that'll help you shine bright for years to come. Number 7, there's not one way to be successful. I didn't always think like that. Years ago when I was at high school, I thought the definition of success was obvious. I thought it was that smart, on paper type of success, top of the class, best overall, you get the idea. But since entering the big bad world of working, my outlook has changed considerably. There is not one way to do things in life, including being successful. People often want to know the specific steps I took to become an author, as though following them to a T will lead to the same destination. I don't blame them. I used to do the same thing with every author and journo and news reporter I ever met. I thought the only way to be successful and crack the industry was to get killer grades in my communication degree. But a week into my first journalism role, my worldview was flipped upside down. One young woman had a teaching degree, another a drama background, another was a lawyer. One girl was only in her second year of university, yet we'd all ended up in relatively the same place, earning relatively the same amount of money, and enjoying relatively the same success. It was a big wake-up call, and this is particularly helpful to remember if what I'm setting out to do fails. I used to fear failure and do everything in my power to avoid it, often making myself sick from the stress of it all. But now I know failing doesn't mean the end of the dream. If I still thought like that, then I wouldn't be standing in front of you as a published author with another book on the way. I bluffed and failed my way through writing and editing the first few drafts of my novel, and it was so hard I nearly gave up a few times. But I eventually learnt that not doing things perfectly the first time is okay. It means you're learning. And as long as I made an effort to learn from my failures, then that was productive and positive. Now if I stuff up, like we all do, we're all human, I know I've only failed at one attempt. So I dust myself off and try a new approach to see if that works. It's time for the last one, guys. Lucky number 8. And trust me, this one gets me through almost every single day of my life. I'll even fill you on a little secret. I'm using it right now. Number 8, fake it till you make it. It's a cliche. I didn't come up with it, but I know it works. If you're lacking self-confidence, but know how to hide it from everyone else in important meetings and presentations and job interviews, it will pay off for you. I faked my way through job interviews, book launches a few weeks ago, public speaking competitions, university speeches. And here's what no one is telling you, what no one wants you to know. We're all faking it a little to get by. Maybe you have a group presentation and you've had butterflies thinking about it over the last few weeks, or a job interview at a place that you really, really want to work. It could even be meeting the in-laws for the first time. That's pretty scary. Here's what you need to do, despite wanting to rock gently while lying in the fetal position. Fake it. Smile. Keep your head high and your shoulders back. It makes you look confident, and it makes you feel confident. Pretend you know what you're doing, even if you haven't got the faintest clue. Now, I'm not saying this needs to be put to the test in every situation. If you're studying to be a surgeon, please, for the rest of our sakes, learn how to use that scalpel. But if you're just trying to get through a uni presentation or a job interview or an important meeting, take a deep breath and tell yourself you can handle it. You've got it. No one else needs to know you're close to wetting yourself with nerves. Now, I'm sure you're all 12% inspired and 88% overwhelmed by my nuggets of self-described wisdom, so stew them over, soak in the tips that feel right for you, taking extra note of my tattoo regret story, shake off the tips that don't suit, and most of all, enjoy your O-Week and your first semester at this wonderful institution. I'm honoured and humbled to be standing here before you as a graduate of the University of Canberra, and I wish you all the very best of luck at university and beyond. Thank you.